Hi, I'm Mike Hendrickson at Solid 2015 in San Francisco. I'm here with Tony Shakib. Tony, how you doing?
Doing great.
So, you're with Cisco.
I am.
And what do you do with Cisco right now?
So I'm the Vice President for Internet of Everything verticals and solutions. So what we do basically is that because this industry is so vast and there's so many different verticals, we want to be relevant to every customer segment, every vertical. So I have teams that have subject matter expertise that try to understand every vertical. Who are the customers, what do they want, and what do they want to do? And then what we do is that we build solutions, some from technologies from Cisco, some from third party or developers. We package it so it has a clear business outcome and value for every one of those verticals, and we deliver it to them. That's what I do. And
what are the main verticals? I'm curious.
So we focus on about a dozen verticals, but the main ones, Mike, are manufacturing, especially discrete manufacturing, that's really big. Public sector, or within public sector, there's smart cities, there's transportation, mass transit, there's public safety, and there's citizen services, so that's the second one that's pretty big. And the third one is energy, oil and gas, utilities. In addition, we do a lot of stuff on retail, hospitality, big sports arenas, and also financial services. So those are the big five, mostly catered to big industrials, public sector, enterprises, where there's money.
So those are pretty big verticals.
They are.
So
and then we also break them down into subsegments.
Okay, and so there's a phrase going around Cisco, right? Go big with Cisco?
That's right.
And what does go big with Cisco mean?
So what it means is that honestly, this space is huge. We're talking about the ability to generate over $19 trillion worth of value for our customers, right? That's bigger than US's GDP. So there's no one company that can do it alone. Now, we want to go big in partnership with the developers, with a lot of different people that have innovation, because that's the only way that we could drive this industry forward. That's what we mean by going big.
Okay, and so then you also have set up innovation labs, is that correct?
Yes.
And can you talk a little bit about why and what they do?
Yeah, so we have 9 innovation centers around the globe. We have them in Sangdo, Korea, we have them in Rio de Janeiro, we have them in Berlin, London, Toronto, Canada, so many different locations around the globe, and we're gonna open up another dozen or so. Our intention with this global innovation centers is to actually open it up to the developer community, to the startup community, to the VCs, anybody to come co-innovate with us. And we also run a lot of sessions actually with our customers. We bring them in, we show them the art of the possible. What can you do with Internet of Everything? Get their imagination going, that inspires them to come up with new ideas. And together we innovate and hopefully build the things that is valuable to them so they can implement and scale.
So these innovation centers are slightly like an incubator or something like that, where they can come test things on equipment that they might not be able to install in the wild.
Mike, we live in an age where it's all about rapid innovation. And what does rapid innovation means? Well, it means ideation, coming up with ideas, but rapid prototyping. Because having the ideas, everyone has ideas. But when you prototype it and you take it to the field and test it, and if it's not resonating, you come back and quickly reiterate it, that's what it's all about. So we want to create an environment that you could ideate, rapidly prototype, and then whatever works, you learn from it and you scale.
And you scale to go big.
We scale to go big.
Right, because you guys are pretty much everywhere. So at Cisco, you've defined the IoT area as really the Internet of Everything. Why the slight distinction between the Internet of Things and the Internet of Everything, or some people call it the industrial internet, some people call it machine to machine. There's a lot of different definitions, but you guys like Internet of Everything.
Yes, there's actually a clear distinction. Internet of Things, it's all about connectivity. It's all about lighting up dark assets. It's all about taking anything, assets, actuators, people, watches, whatever you can imagine, devices at the edge, connecting it to the internet. That part of it is what we refer to as IoT. But that alone is not exciting, right? Because you connected them, so what? But then when you extract the data, you derive analytics, and insights, and you create applications and processes that deliver a clear business outcome. The combination of all of that together, which is much more than connectivity, is what we call Internet of Everything, which is business outcome based, delivers a clear value, and it has big data analytics, it has processes, and it has business outcomes. That circle of life is Internet of Everything.
Excellent. So where do you see that going with Cisco? So let's look at your partner ecosystem and your verticals that you work with. What, do you have like a back of the envelope idea of how many of your customers are talking about IoT or IoE or this sort of thing? How many of them that you're working with, percentage-wise, do you think are really pushing this way quickly?
Yeah, you know, it's a great question. We have some customers that are pushing us to go faster. They really are excited. And, you know, they have high degree of connectivity, but they're not digitized, which means the data, it's still in silos. It's not across a pervasive platform so they could do more interesting things with it. So we have some in that category. We have some customers that are going through that transition. They're experimenting. They've started with some level of their factory or their hospital, and they're getting comfortable with it, and they're in the stages of scaling it up. And then we have some other ones that have true intentions of doing it, but don't know where to start. And this is where, as a whole community, we all need to come together. And it's not just about the technology, it's about change management, it's about people that can do the integration, people that can do the deployment. There's a consultative services, how you sit down and personalize it for them. So it's really that greater ecosystem that all needs to work together, function as one, for this thing to really go really big.
So how does a small company become a qualified partner of Cisco? I mean, because you're a large company, and I'm untrue, untried, untested. How do I become a partner?
Great question. You know, we have a number of different programs that, you know, a small company, a startup, or even a big company or partners can take advantage of it. But let's first talk about the small ones, the smaller company startups. So, you know, we like the companies that are a little bit more mature, they've thought through what they want to do, they have a unique value proposition. You know, honestly, I see like half a dozen startups a week. 80–90% of it is me too, right?
Yeah.
I heard the other day that there are 7,000 patents on a mousetrap, and there's only 2 companies making money, right? So we don't want the me toos. We want the ones that are unique. We want the companies that are at least at like a Series B seeding, that they've kind of gone through the tests and trials, and, you know, they have some backings. And we need customers that have good, you know, market validation, that they have already tested it with the end customers, and they have like a good value proposition that we feel comfortable they can bring to the table, because that's really what's important. So if you fall into any of those 3 categories, come talk to us.
And could you start through your innovation center with that, or is that?
Right, so there's different ways to come in. There's the innovation center, which is a great place to go around these different places around the world. We have an EIR program, you know, entrepreneur in residence, that they could come in through that, and we help them and we fund, you know, some of the prototyping activities. We actually have a $250 million investment fund. So if they're like, as I said, like really established type of company that have a great idea on innovation, you know, we've already invested in over 20 companies, and we're going to continue on that trend. And then there's a lot of them that are kind of like just sit on top of our platform, where together we could have a more complete value proposition, and they could be very large companies. You know, we have, for example, a marvelous relationship with Rockwell Automation. You know, they're very strong in this space. You know, we provide technology, they create a more holistic solution, and they go to some of these factories. There's some solutions that we provide an enterprise value proposition. We can go direct to these factories. So there's many different ways to do it, and we're open to all sorts of partnerships.
So if you could fast forward our conversation right now to next year at this time, and we sit down and have this conversation, what will change for Cisco in that 12 months?
We're going to grow. So there's 2 things that I would really hope that would happen. One, we would always like the market to grow, the industry to grow for everybody, right? And secondly is that all of us in the ecosystem generate value for our end customer, and as a result, generate value for ourselves and our shareholders. Cisco is probably the most partner-friendly large company in the world. 82% of our revenue goes through partners. So we know how to do this thing, and we really want to take advantage of that same success that we've had in the IT world, bring it to the IoT and OT world, and grow it for everybody and ourselves.
Excellent. Tony, we look forward to working with you guys on that venture.
Thank you very much. Nice meeting you, Mike.